ladies and gentlemen, for checking out Going Deeper. I'm your host, Matt, and I've got a great show planned for you tonight. I just ripped my headphones out as I started doing that, so it's going to be a real professional one here tonight, folks. You'll know my next guest from her appearances on websites such as pervcity.com and privatesociety.com. You can find links to all of her social media in the episode description below, but I really want to recommend you go and check out her OnlyFans at Wisconsin_Tiff. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming the wonderful Wisconsin Tiff. Tiff, how are you tonight?
Hi, I'm good.
Big Bears fan? Chicago Bears fan?
No.
Okay, just checking. Is the name, are you from Wisconsin? Is that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Big city, small city? You don't have to give me details. I'm not going to ask your zip code.
I'm a country girl.
Country girl.
But I like the city. I like both city and country.
Okay. All right. But did you, I'll relate it and you'll see, I promise you. Did you grow up in a small town or a big town?
I grew up in the woods.
In the woods. Woods. Okay, good. That's interesting. So let me ask, how did you initially decide to get into this industry? And when were you like, this is the jump I'm going to make?
It was in January of 2021. I didn't even know what OnlyFans was. Somebody mentioned it to me. I made a TikTok and I was nobody on TikTok. I think I had maybe 100 followers. Sure. And somebody that I know had said, oh, before you know it, you'll be on OnlyFans. And he was kind of just making it sound like I'm going to be this big thing. And I was like, oh, yeah. And I didn't even know what it was. So I started doing a little bit of research after a while, be like, what is OnlyFans? So I did some research on it and I found out what it was. And I reached out to my sister and I told her, have you ever heard of this? And she said, yeah, it's for celebrities. And I told her, I don't know if it is. And she went and researched it and she found out what it was. So then she told me about it. Well, the only reason I started looking up stuff was because I was trying to leave my ex-husband. And I told my sister, I was like, this is my chance to leave him if this can make money. So I had no idea that the amount of money you could make. All I knew was I could make enough to leave and live on my own.
That's at the same time, that's, to me, I feel bad for you in that situation. You have to get away from somebody. I understand that. But it's also, the other half of it is that's so empowering that it worked for you. For a lot of women, it probably doesn't work for them. But I also read some stuff about you that you didn't treat this as like, I'm sexy, I'm good looking, I could probably make money off of this. I read you like really delved into almost, I don't want to use the word science, but maybe the science of how social media works, how reach works. Is that true?
Yes. I went into it. When I first started, I didn't even advertise I was on OnlyFans. I would just make videos on TikTok that I liked making, like movie skits. Mm-hmm. And I wanted people to be my friend. So I thought, well, if they're my friend on here, they'll want to subscribe to me.
Smart.
Or if they think I'm funny, they'll want to subscribe to me because I did Adam Sandler TikToks. And,
okay. It doesn't hurt that you're gorgeous as well. So that's a good transition, I guess, from that to that. It was smart moving that way. Did you just like it, or was it strictly out of necessity because you needed to get out of your, or did you learn to like it as soon as you delved into it? Was it complicated at all when you got into like the social media stuff and how you would do this and how you would do that? Or was it something that you kind of started to really get into once you saw it?
I did live streaming and I figured out everything on my own. I did a little bit of brand deals before I did this and I was taught how to do brand deals. So I used some of that into my marketing, and the marketing part was very easy to me because I didn't look at it as if I'm good looking, I'll get subscribers. I looked at it as I needed to build a connection so that I can get subscribers, because anybody can look pretty, but you gotta make sure that you're doing it right. So it kind of just clicked with me, and I interacted with my fans, especially on live streaming. Live streaming was the biggest thing. And I realized once I posted a video, I would go live and then that video would get pushed out. I would live stream like all night long.
I've asked women this in the past, but I'm wondering again, as somebody with, knowledge of how this stuff works, who do you think would be more successful in the industry? And it kind of goes back to what you said there. A girl who's just a 10 out of 10 gorgeous knockout superstar girl, but doesn't really know social media that well, or a girl who, and I hate to rank women, but please understand what I'm trying to do here. A girl who's maybe a 6 out of 10, but really engages and works the social media and knows the algorithms. I would personally say the second girl would be the more successful of the two, because you're right. It's not so much about just who's gorgeous. There's a million gorgeous women in the world. It's like, who do I have a connection with? Who do I like seeing her Adam Sandler videos and they actually make me laugh, not like most of the shit I'm flipping through online. So that's so smart to build that personal thing. Now, you've grown exponentially since then, I would assume. Obviously, you have to. How are you staying personable? Do you ever reach out? Do you talk to your fans at all or no?
Yes, I
Okay.
still answer all my DMs on my own.
How do you have the time? How many hours are in your
Time.
day? Oh, I'm sorry.
Mm,
What was that?
I too many hours. I make time for it.
Sure. You have to.
Mhm.
It's your job, right?
I mean, I could hire somebody and I could go live my life by going and doing stuff, like going for a hike while I have somebody answer my DMs and I don't have to worry about it. Or I guess I could just sit down and answer my DMs and then go for a walk. I I'm just I know so many people tell me that I need management because it makes life so much easier, but I just can't have somebody controlling my account for me. I'm just, it's sort of like a control thing for me because I've never had the freedom. So I'm just worried that if somebody were to be like, let's say I need somebody just to help me to send videos for people, fans that ask for certain videos, and maybe that could be an option. But what if they messed it up or something? I don't know.
Sure. No, that makes total sense. And you know what? You said you lived in the woods. I assume it wasn't a big giant mansion in the woods. You weren't like a huge rich family. Okay, neither was I, right? And sometimes I'll be up till 4 or 5 in the morning editing my comedy show or one of these episodes, and it'll get a good amount of views, but I put them out for free. I don't really make any money off of them. Why do I do this? It's because I remember not having things as a kid, not having recognition, not having whatever. And I've worked my way up to this point to be able to do this. I see it as kind of the same thing with you, maybe. Maybe you started out in a place where you were in a bad spot. You turned it around all on your own and built this thing, this empire's a big word. That's more like millions and millions and millions, like a little empire. No offense, but we're talking a lot here. I understand not wanting to give control up of that. Like, what if someone messes it up? What if someone gets mad at you, the person you're paying, and they tweet something shitty or something nasty or something like that? Then what are you doing? Are you apologizing the rest of the day? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. That wasn't me. Da, 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 da. Some people won't believe you. You'll lose some fans. I don't know. I think it's smart. I just think it's probably becomes overwhelming after a certain amount of time, right?
Yeah, I just know that I know a lot of people that I'm friends with, and they have people that run certain social media accounts for them, which in reality, any kind of business that is taking off and they want to do more in their business, they have to have some sort of assistance because if you're so obviously I don't have assistants, but if I did have somebody who was helping me run my social media accounts, I could make more content.
Sure. Okay.
That's the only other thing. I could make more content and I could make more of the things that I want to do. So that is one thing that I don't think people look at, especially fans. But I personally, I have time to answer my DMs. I mean, I make time for it.
Sure.
It's not really a big deal to me because it's just in my routine. The
Sure.
only thing that I probably could, I did have a video editor for just a short period of time. And then I figured, oh, I can do it on my own. But I think in the near future, I might hire somebody to do my video editing for me. And maybe a couple other things, but I don't mind answering my DMs. I'm not at the point where I have thousands of DMs on OnlyFans,
Sure.
just enough to where I'm good. But I've learned ways to where I'm not going to get an influx of messages because in the middle of when I started growing really big, I started doing something a certain way where I was just getting way too many DMs and I could not keep up with it. And then I talked to some people and they told me that I need to do it this way. Otherwise, you're gonna burn yourself out because all you're doing is creating all these messages that they like usually if and it's the simple like somebody saying something simple that didn't really actually need a reply. If that makes sense, like it wasn't really necessary for them to send a DM. It's kind of hard to explain.
No, I kind of get. No, I get that. That makes sense to me. Yeah.
So for me to cut time, I needed to do less of certain things so that I don't create more work than I need to.
Sure. Sure. So then what you're saying is there may be time in the future when you bring people onto your quote unquote staff, but they will not likely be customer, fan, audience facing at all. That's you. That bridge between you and the audience is that maybe editing, maybe this over here or something else, but not between you and your fan. When people go to Wisconsin_Tiff on OnlyFans, they're getting you.
Yes. Oh,
That's
and it's actually Wisconsin_Tiff is on my Twitter. My OnlyFans is Wisconsin Tiff. It's just one word.
I'm so sorry about that.
I'm pretty sure it's one word.
I'm pretty sure well, if it's a web address, yeah, I think it would be one word, right?
Or they can find me on wisconsintiff.com.
That's even easier.
Sorry, I just had to put that out there.
No, I understand. In fact, I'll go back and edit the audio later. So
okay.
They're just going to think you're crazy, like you shouted out the same thing I said because Mom going to say it earlier. All right. Well, we're going to take a break in 1 second. Okay. Well, let me make sure I do this correctly because that is important. That sounded snarky. I swear to God it wasn't. Plugs are like the most important thing to me. If you give me your time, I want to make sure people go to your stuff. So please, folks, head over on OnlyFans and check out Wisconsin Tiff, onlyfans.com/Wisconsin Tiff, no underscore. Underscore is Twitter. Okay, good. Links to all of that is in the episode description, though. So if you're listening to this right now, head down there, click follow. Even if you're not going to sign up for her OnlyFans, if you don't have it right now, whatever, find a way to make it. But if you don't, make sure you follow her, at least. Throw likes up there. Get her in the algorithm, because it helps. Everything helps. Everything helps. My guest tonight, Wisconsin Tiff. We will be right back after this. And we're back. My guest tonight, Wisconsin Tiff. You can find her on OnlyFans at Wisconsin Tiff. And make sure you go to the episode description below and like and follow and do everything you can because she is a phenomenal performer. I used the excuse to my wife last night. I'm just doing research. I swear to God, I'm just checking her stuff out because I'm researching it. I am a big fan of your content. You produce some really phenomenal stuff. I do want to play a game with you today. How are you with words?
Depends.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So what I have for you today is a game called Lewd Letters. Let me give you the rules for Lewd Letters. I'm going to give you some short questions and you give me the answer. Here's the easy part. There's no correct answer. As long as you say something, you get a point. But here's the shitty part. Your answer has to begin with a randomly selected letter. So prior to the show, I picked a letter. Your letter's going to be F. So when I say this, right, name a car brand.
Ferrari.
There you go. Okay, see, you got the game. Perfect. Nailed it. You are going to have because I'm not a hack, 69 seconds on the clock to try and answer 10 of these questions. Some girls whiz through these, and I had my wife try it on me, and I got about three of them. So I don't know. Then we had on a girl who claimed she was dyslexic and got 10 of them. So who knows? But Tiff, are you ready to play this game? We understand it, right?
My letter is F.
F, as in Frank, as in something else.
Okay.
Cool. I'm going to start the clock and go. Name a sex position or act.
Frontal.
Name something to drink.
Fanta.
Name a body part to come on.
Face.
A female name.
Fiona.
Name a porn website. You can pass as well, and we'll come back to it if you like.
Pass.
Okay. All right. Name a fashion brand.
Pass.
Something you like about a male performer.
Funny.
Name a food brand.
Fry. I don't know. That.
Coming up on time. There you go.
Pizza.
There you go. Sure. Name a celebrity you'd fuck.
Frank Sinatra.
Make up a porn title.
Foot Daddy.
Time. Wonderful. Wonderful. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to have to go back in editing and fix that, folks, because I set that for, rather than 69 seconds, 1 hour and 9 minutes. But you did phenomenal on that, Tiff. I cannot, for the life of me, when I fill these out, I have to Google drinks that begin with F because I blank entirely. But you have that performer gene. That's just what it is. What kind of... Did you have any kind of anxiety jumping into this, or was it freeing for you to be able to start expressing your sexuality, or were you comfortable expressing your sexuality beforehand?
I had never done anything like this before. So when I first started, I didn't post any nudes anyways. So me posting lewds and I wasn't worried about it. My ex-husband knew what I was doing because I told him. So I didn't want to post nudes anyways because I didn't want him getting mad at me, because I told him that I'm only doing bikini photos and I'm only showing my boobs on my live streams. And he knew I was leaving him, but he didn't want me to. He didn't think I was going to leave him. But to make it sound like I'm not doing anything bad, I'm just showing, bikini photos. He didn't think I'd be making a lot. But my first month, not even posting any nudes, I made $6,000.
That's crazy. Like I said, you obviously you are gorgeous. I mean, you're a gorgeous girl, and like you said, you're very personable. I've interviewed. I also do a sideshow where I interview new performers. I try and get them some exposure to the industry. Also, tell them stuff I've learned, whatever else. I've met some absolutely gorgeous girls that update every day and have about 300 followers and nobody on OnlyFans. They make $100. So what is, I don't want you to give away the special sauce, but what is a tip or something you could give to somebody who's starting out on OnlyFans that you really think focus in on this and you will be successful?
Well, I don't mind sharing. There's a few reasons why I'm at where I'm at. So the one thing is getting yourself out there, not just relying on Twitter, because Twitter is not my main source of getting subscribers. That's just a portfolio. So when fans on other places come to there and they see what I have, and looking at your Twitter is going to kind of determine how the quality of your content is. So if your lighting is bad, if the sound is bad, if it's just a mess in the background, and it might kind of turn fans off because it looks like you're not putting any effort in. You don't have to be perfect, but at least make it look somewhat presentable. And as you grow, you get better and better. The other thing is, the one thing that sets me aside from I started at a really bad time in my life, and I had guys that felt like they needed to save me. And that wasn't even me doing it on purpose. I was really in a desperate situation where I needed to leave, and I was not really good in the headspace because I was abused and manipulated my entire life. So how I thought I was being, I thought was normal. So when I look back, I look like, oh my gosh, she's so desperate to leave. She's gonna like would get sad, and she would tell her subscribers that she's sad, or I would start crying because my ex-husband said something to me, and and they felt like they were responsible for saving me. Now today I'm in a much better position where I don't need to cry on my stories to make them feel like I didn't do it to make them feel bad for me. I really was in a really bad place.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank God you're out of that now. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
hey, congratulations. You made it. There's so many other women that haven't yet though. So I think it's great that you're willing to share information and stuff like that. I think it's kind of you actually. But that was your situation, other girls' situation. So I guess the advice would probably be like just try and show people your real self. Maybe,
Yeah.
unless you're real
Mhm.
despicable, then don't do that. Like if you're a
Well,
dirtbag,
I mean, when you're online, your persona is a little different than when you don't want to come off as too relatable because, um, that's just the part with anything on social media. Interacting with your fans is going to be the biggest thing. But there are people in the industry that are huge and they don't really do a lot on OnlyFans, but they still get so many subscribers because they started off as streamers. Like, I'm trying to think of one for an example. There's so many. It's like, how the hell did they get so much? How did they get so many fans and they do so little on their OnlyFans? And there's so many who do a lot. And and there are people who make way more than me, and I could be doing a lot more. But I only have the capacity to do so much. It's just, I guess you just can't compare yourself to somebody else who's doing better. But I'm trying to think of the one. She has red hair, Amara.
oh,
She's never done porn. She's like more of like a streamer, and then she got really big on OnlyFans, and then she does a bunch of other stuff too. Like she runs a
sure,
marketing
sure.
team, and it's like, how did she? Because she was big on Twitch, but how did she get so big on OnlyFans?
Well, I mean, that's kind of like when these celebrities get podcast deals for $40 million and they've never podcasted before. Certain people, like certain guys in the
Okay.
industry, and I go like, I've done 500 episodes. I've interviewed world known celebrities, blah blah blah. Where is mine? But if you bring it in with an audience, but that doesn't mean the quality is going to be there. And my personal thing is, I think quality wins out in the end. It always does. Um, yeah, I don't know. So let me. Okay, that's an interesting question. So no, no. I'm not trying to put these words in your mouth. But I'm going to ask because there's almost like levels, even as nice of the porn community as it is. Like, it's odd how in it everyone is in together. Like, there's a lot of people who are always trying to help out other people I see behind the scenes and this and that. And it really surprised me. I would think it would be more of like a stripper type atmosphere, a little bit catty, a little bit fighting over this or that. And it doesn't seem that way. Let me ask, are there types of performers or whatever that you look at and might be like, come on, they don't do what I do? Because for a while, big mainstream porn star girls were looking at OnlyFans girls going like, they don't do what I do. Come on now. Is there anybody like in the chain of media where you're kind of like, oh, come on now, step it up, get your shit together?
I don't really look at people like that
Sure.
because I'm so busy with my own, but I do know that there are people in the industry that do compare a lot, and or some people might be much bigger than I am and might look down on somebody who is not as big. or some people only want to talk to people if they have a following, and um or there's people who are don't have a large following and they like to do a lot of poaching.
Hmm.
I feel that when it comes to the industry, people, I mean, they're willing to help each other out, but at the end of the day, everybody's for themselves.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. But you know what? You are all independent contractors. So yeah, the truth of the matter is, but I assume that doesn't stop you from doing collaborations or anything like that, or no? Do you not do any of that type of stuff?
I do collabs. I'm very, I'm going to say I'm picky, but
Sure.
I want to work with people who I feel connected to. I don't want to just work with somebody just because I want to work with them, or I don't care what their following is. I don't care if they have a huge following, because followings don't mean anything, because people have had allegations against them with large followings, and they think because they have a large following that they're excluded from being canceled, or
Hmm.
they can do things and get away with it. But I don't care if somebody has a large following. I care more about if they can follow directions and they kind of get the marketing stuff, because the marketing is the biggest thing that's going to get you subscribers. It doesn't matter how many sex tapes you make. It doesn't matter if you make a sex tape once a week. That's not going to make you the money. The money is in the marketing, because you got to
Yeah.
bring an audience in.
Yeah, it seems like it's probably 50-50 because if you had phenomenal marketing with shit content, they wouldn't come back for episode 2. But if you had the most beautiful scene in the world, this could win, an Oscar if there wasn't a double anal in it. It doesn't matter if you're not marketing it anywhere. Like, yeah, you'll get the passerby on many vids or whatever it is, but aside from that, who fucking cares? I don't see it, so I don't know it. You've done a couple mainstream shoots? One mainstream shoot? How many have you done so far?
I've done, I think, I've done like 6 for
Mhm.
Private Society,
Okay.
and then I've done a bunch for Tadpole Studio, and then I've done Perv
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 City, I think you
City.
did, right?
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to do a shoot with him a few weeks ago, but I wasn't ready to do anal. Actually, I don't remember what the thing was, but I ended up doing a content trade with Claudio. He's
Okay.
the owner of it. So we ended up just doing a content trade. I can't remember why I wasn't able to do a shoot. It was like the time he needed me, I wasn't able to be available for that. So but yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Okay. Do you like shooting mainstream stuff?
Yes, I like shooting with Private Society, and I don't know when I'm shooting with them again, but I do like doing shoots with them.
So are we ever going to see you on Brazzers.com someday?
I don't know. I don't think
Just as an
so.
example. Okay. Uh,
I personally prefer Private Society because of its raw
I
and
was going to use the word raw. Yeah.
Mhm.
Private society is always like in the best way possible, the most drowned out lighting sometimes, and then they'll pull it back a little bit and it's like perfect. It's the type of scenes at Private Society where I could be like, oh, if they had unlicensed music in the background, I would understand why they had that. Like that's why Metallica's playing in the background, but they're very professional and everything like that. They've been around forever. So that's part of the thing. When I talk to a lot of the big name performers, a lot of them tell me they make most of their money from OnlyFans, and the mainstream sites are more of a great advertisement, right? Like
Mhm.
Wisconsin Tiff is you are doing phenomenal on your own. But I wonder how many other subscribers would come in if you had it slapped across the top of like new scene Wisconsin Tiff at teamskeet.com, blah, blah, blah. It's definitely possible that it would boost you, but again, you would be giving up some of your control or your control of the content, right? Is that why you're kind of iffy on taking those mainstream shoots, or are they just not your thing?
It's because of that, because I can make a lot more on my own, not
Really?
having a middleman. I feel that Private Society has brought me in so many subscribers. So I really like them. So I think filming with them is worth it because I do get traction from them.
Okay, cool, cool, very cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was wondering from the marketing aspect, but again, you're killing it. So, what? Let me ask you this: what is a kink or a fetish that you developed when you got into the adult entertainment industry that you maybe didn't realize you had before this?
Pretty much the only kinks that I do are the older man age gap stuff. I don't really have any other, I mean, I do feet stuff here and there and butt stuff, but and pee stuff. I guess the pee stuff is what, when I started, I had that not on my radar at all because I was only on OnlyFans. But on Fansly, I do, I post pee videos and stuff that you can't post on OnlyFans.
Sure.
So I
Yeah.
guess pee videos are the one thing that I thought I would never be posting on a site and guys would like it.
But they do. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I get maybe have you learned this? Because I've learned this really. And I know this sounds like a simple statement, but it seems like there's a guy for every fetish. And for a lot of shit that you didn't realize was a fetish, there's a guy for that too. Have you ever had any requests where obviously I wouldn't ask for names and no one would know these names anyway, but have you had requests from people that you had to almost like, if you ask that again, I got to block you, man. Like, that's a weird one. That's a rough one. I am all about not kink shaming and not fetish shaming and whatever, but, um, sometimes, there's limits. There's limits to what people are even interested in seeing in their inbox.
I haven't had to, usually men are very respectful to me when I tell them I can't
Awesome.
do it.
Yeah.
So I tell them, I just tell them, I'm like, hey, I'm really not comfortable doing that. I mean, but I can always try something else. But I mean, and they're usually pretty respectful. But the weirdest one I almost did, but I was like, no, because what if I stop all of this and I have that video out? That's the only one I don't want people seeing. He wanted me to put an adult diaper on and
Mhm.
pee in it. And I was going to because I was like, well, that's like really easy money. I mean, just pee in it. And but then I started thinking, I'm like, no, because if I stop this one day, I don't care if the other stuff is out there because it's just, I don't care if somebody sees me pee. I mean, because everybody pees, but I don't want me. I don't know if that would get out anywhere. People watching me pee in a diaper. That would just that would just be like, don't ask me about that.
you, you you would either lose a bunch of subscribers if you did put that out publicly, or you would gain a whole bunch, but you'd have all new requests that would be coming in every day.
No, I don't want to pee in a diaper.
You'd
I
be,
don't know.
you'd be going to Costco buying the industrial size one, and they'd be like, "Oh, do you have a new little one at home?" Be like, "No, these are adult size, actually. This is for me. By the way, here's my black card. Charge it to this."
Yeah.
Um, so okay, all right. I want to take one more break. We'll come right back. I want to talk about what we're going to do in the future, what you have planned, what you'd like to plan, this and that. My guest tonight, the beautiful, the wonderful Wisconsin Tiff. You can find her on OnlyFans at Wisconsin Tiff and follow her across all social media. Those links are in the episode description as always. We'll be right back. All right, we're back with my guest, Wisconsin Tiff. You can find her on OnlyFans at Wisconsin Tiff. Nice and easy. And WisconsinTiff.com is links to everything you do.
Mhm.
Beautiful. Wonderful. Make sure you go there, folks. You touched on a few things. Let's jump back into the diaper. I'm just kidding. I don't want to talk about the diaper thing anymore. But you do have somewhat of a interesting thing that you're known for, it seems like, that I've seen articles written about you. Could you tell the audience what that is?
Age gap porn.
Okay. Now, is that something that you realized was just going to make you like successful in this industry, or have you always been like attracted to older guys?
I mean, I do hang out with older men outside of this work. I started marketing older men back when I first started OnlyFans. I made a video. I was trying to test things out to get subscribers. So I made a video about older men, and it got a lot of views and got me a lot of subscribers. So I told my sister about it. I said, "Oh my gosh, I just got a bunch of subscribers because I posted about older men. Like they're so nice. They're so much nicer to me, and they're so much easier because I wouldn't say easier, but it's like I don't know what it is about me that they like me so much. So I'm just gonna keep being nice to them. I just thought like they're the nicer ones to me. So I just kept marketing it, and then one day, somebody asked if I was ever gonna make a video with an older man, and last year was the first time I made a sex tape with an older man. I never made any sex tapes until like a year ago,
Hmm.
like a little over a year ago. But my first sex tape was with somebody who was older than me, just not like an older man. But last year was the year that I started filming with older men sex tapes. So once I started doing that, I started blowing up more. But I just always was making TikToks about older men, and they would always just blow up, and they were just the nicest guys to me. So I just stuck with it.
They're probably appreciative, right? I mean, it's
Mhm.
like this, can I ask what was the age gap in that big one you shot?
80.
Wait, he was 80.
Uh-huh.
You were how old?
I'm 36, but I was 34. It was right before I turned 35.
Okay, so 46-year age gap right there. I thought you when I said I thought you said a 80-year age gap, so I was like, "Oh, he was 100 and what then? That's terrifying. You shouldn't do that." Was it scary at all? No.
No, because I was already having sex with older men.
No, 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 no. Was it scary like you might kill him?
No,
Okay, okay. All right, fair enough.
I didn't like whenever I do a sex tape with a guy. I mean, I've had my fans see raw footage of like the virgin sex tape. I usually am like I sometimes won't edit some of the stuff out so they can kind of see like, oh, I love how you just talk to him and you kind of guide him. I just I tell them if you're uncomfortable, just let me know and we'll try something else. And I don't go into it being like crazy. I guess it depends on what the sex tape is. But no, I wasn't worried.
Okay, all right. I would be terrified if I was that old to have a girl as beautiful as you. I wouldn't be terrified. I would go, this is going to be my last time on Earth. That's fine. But I'm going to die the happiest man in the world after this heart attack. Yes. Um, so what is coming up? What type of content are you looking forward to produce? It almost sounds like, and this is not a shot because it's actually working really well for you. It almost seems like you are so comfortable in your control, which is such an amazing place to be in for a content creator. Someone who understands what their audience wants, knows what they are capable of making, and wants to make that. But it almost seems like you're not trying to expand out. I don't mean new subscribers. I mean new things, this and that. Am I wrong on that? And if I am, please correct me.
I haven't really been doing much different. I mean, I did some gangbangs here and there. I mean, a lot. I'm kind of just putting those to the side for a while because and I keep having people ask me for more of them, but it's very exhausting doing those. Even though I go down to Chicago to do them,
Mhm.
it's just it burns a lot of my energy because it's just a lot. I haven't done a gangbang in a while, and I'm okay with that because when I am ready, it'll get them more excited and want to look forward to it. I like to go in little breaks where I don't want to do something too much because then they'll get bored of it. And then they'll be like, oh, I haven't seen her do that in a while. And then I say, oh, I'm going to do it. But I just been doing older men and guys kind of my age too, a little bit here and there, because I keep having guys my age asking me to just do tapes with their age range. And I offer that too, but it's not really something I prefer the older men stuff because for one, it's a shock value for when I do my marketing.
Mhm.
and it's fun. I like making people mad, and I like making people feel surprised. So yeah, I just keep working with
Sure.
the same people that I keep working with, or the
Sure.
fans.
Sure. Is there any other types of scenes that in the future, a year, 2 years from whatever down the line, where you go, I've got my eye on that. I'd like to shoot this type of scene for your own content or whatever it is. Is there any kind of kink or fetish or anything at all where you're like, that might be somewhere down the line I stretch out to?
I'm not sure. Right now, I just got back from an ayahuasca retreat.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I feel like I'm kind of like, oh, I'm kind of okay where I'm at right now. And I don't really know where I'm going to go next, but I'm just enjoying where I'm at right now.
Should have asked if I could have interviewed you prior to the ayahuasca retreat and then after. That would have been so interesting. Do you feel changed after that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you feel changed about? Did you confront any demons like they talk about? Did you confront ego? I've never done it, but I've obviously heard, what it's like.
I did ayahuasca, hape, and combo, which combo I have my burn marks right there, and I'm doing it again in a few weeks. Combo again. And I went in with the intentions of healing my childhood trauma, and because I healed some of that trauma, I have must have had it stored in certain parts of my back because I no longer have back pain in my back.
Wow.
It was a very life changing experience. I do know that I've been feeling not wanting to film with certain people anymore
Wow.
because I don't want to absorb their energy. And I kind of just want to film with somebody that understands like why I'm wanting to film, not just to film.
Right.
And it's kind of hard to explain. I don't want to film with just anybody anymore. I kind of want to keep my circle small.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe down the road I will, but I'm going through a little thing after this whole retreat because it's opened my eyes a lot about people and not just letting anybody into my life.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know where to take that. I want to.
It's okay.
I want to ask him, but no. But I'm so curious. But I don't know how to word any. What is a trait that you didn't realize? What is a toxic trait that someone you performed with before had that you did not realize until your eyes were opened from this ritual or spiritual ritual? What would you call it?
It was a ceremony.
Ceremony. Fair enough. Okay.
I mean, I before the ceremony, I kind of was starting to feel those feelings. It's just that with the ceremony, it opened my heart a little more and it made me be a little less forgiving. I just know that not everybody has good intentions
Sure.
when it comes to this work, and some people might use you. And I don't want to just film with somebody and feel like they're using me. I want to do this job. I don't want to feel like I have to teach them everything about this because that's going to drain my energy. I'm really at a point where I don't have time to teach people how to do content. Just watch a lot of YouTube videos. You'll figure it out. I noticed that I haven't really had any bad experiences. I'm just not. I just
as
don't
comfortable with the people maybe anymore, or with those?
No.
No. Okay.
I just feel like some of the people might drain my energy a little bit.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with them. It's just their own things in their life that they're going through, and they have their own things they need to work on. And it's not anything against them. I just, like, for example, I probably won't film with a certain somebody because they are going to be filming with somebody else. And I don't want to have intimacy with them because if they're filming with that person that does not like me at all, that's an energy exchange. I don't want that.
Right.
And it's nothing against them. I'm not going to tell people don't film with them because I'm not going to film with whoever you want. I'm at a point where I'm almost ready to date.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah, so and maybe that person and I will film content. I mean, I guess I can't, I don't know the future. Maybe I mean, the person that I'm with has to have an open mind, so it's not like I'm going to drop everything and not ever film with anybody else.
Sure.
But maybe I will end up dating somebody, and maybe I just want to make content with them, and then maybe once in a while make content with somebody else as well. So, yeah.
That's interesting. Question, I haven't asked this in a long time. What would get, okay, you talked about possibly starting dating, this and that. What would get you out of the industry? Meaning, gentleman, like you said, has to be open to this, right? But what if he brings all of the things that you get out of this, that you emotionally get out of this?
I mean, if I was planning to leave in the future, regardless if I'm with somebody or not, I if I leave, it's more so I have figured out a way to be financially stable without having to rely on the industry. And I don't want to just end up with a man and escape or I shouldn't say escape, leave the industry because he might be have I'm not trying to explain how it is. So I make pretty good money. It's
Sure.
just that once you stop, I mean, you better have your other sources of income versus like a man who has a 9 to 5 or something. He's getting consistent income. I mean, I do have a retirement plan set up and I do have my ducks in a row, but I feel that if I were to leave, it's going to be really hard for me because I do like the social media part. That's the part that's going to be the hardest.
Okay. All right. Well, so you said money 9 to 5. I think my implication, what I meant was like if a guy came with where money's not a concern anymore, where it's like, oh, you're good. But that also raises the point, yeah, you wouldn't be escaping the industry. You escaped a bad marriage.
That's
You would
what I
be,
meant. Mhm.
right. You would be leaving a bad, no, you totally said it the right way in the end. But there is that difference there. And then you'd be going into a situation again where you'd almost, if you gave this career up, you'd almost lose a little bit of your independence power, right? A lot of it, because yes, this industry is very accepting. You can come back 5 years from now and there will be guys
Mhm.
who love seeing you. There are women who have been retired for 10 years that I remember from when I was 16. Okay. And I can't get a hold of them to interview them. But, yeah, that's a scary prospect, you know? So it's not just a guy or money in the moment. It would be like real security you would need to be able to leave earlier than your own personal, desire to leave. Well, see, that ruins my last question. My last question was, what's your end game?
Well, I forgot to mention
Sure,
that I do plan on doing something else that's, being an entrepreneur. I don't just have to do porn
sure,
to be an entrepreneur. I mean, because so many people think like some guys, haters, I guess, they think that OnlyFans and porn is the only way a woman can make money. There's so many other options. But now I realize like I can make money however I want. It's just I have to be dedicated
hmm
to making that transition,
hmm
just like I was dedicated when I started. And I have to remind myself that it doesn't just happen overnight.
sure,
It could take me like 5 years.
sure,
I'm not planning to leave anytime soon because I like being online. I like making my reels. I like doing that. But if I did leave, I would have to do something that I don't want to work for a boss. But there are guys that tell me they want to take care of me, but I don't know what their motive is. I
sure.
don't know if they're going to be, if all of a sudden they start being
Controlling.
controlling and mean to me and me not feeling like I have freedom to be able to leave my house without being lectured about something, if that makes sense.
Sure. Last two questions to wrap up because these popped in my head. The one, and then I just have one quick social media thing for you. But the one, you grew up, small town, small area. How many people from your childhood do you see their email addresses in your OnlyFans? Because I always think that's the most entertaining thing when a girl's like, all these guys from high school were hitting me up, blah, blah, blah. To me, that's like so empowering. But from the guy's perspective, too, even girls in high school who weren't like totally, the hottest women in the world, I would pay anything to see some of them naked. So do you have people from like your childhood reaching out to you now like, oh my God, I love your content, blah, blah, blah?
I have no idea because I stopped talking to everybody
Fair enough.
right when I started OnlyFans. I just became a hermit. I just like, I shouldn't say I threw them away, but
No,
I had to make changes in my life, and I deleted all my personal socials. And I'm pretty sure there are guys from my high school who have subscribed to me.
cool.
I'm sure I've caused divorces. I'm sure I've caused many issues. But I honestly, I have no idea. Maybe they're too nervous to even say anything.
Yeah, that's possible too. Final question. You don't have to give me any names. Have you had athletes in your inbox, professional athletes in your inbox?
Yeah.
You heard that. Jordan Love has been in her. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest was tonight was Wisconsin Tiff. Wisconsin Tiff. I love the name. I couldn't spell it because I'm really dumb and white trash, but I eventually got it. Just got to sound it out. Make sure you head over to OnlyFans and sound it out. OnlyFans.com/Wisconsin Tiff. Make sure you follow her across all social media. And even when down the line, when it's not fun anymore or she's just not interested, when Tiff gives up porn, follow whatever else she does after that. Because I don't think like when she wraps this up, I don't think that's the last we hear of her. I think it's the last we hear of the name Wisconsin Tiff, but, we'll hear the real name down the line. Tiff, thank you so much for coming on with me tonight.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next week.